Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be studying about the periapical abscess, which is a very common problem which can be found in your patients. Okay, so moving to the first term, that is the abscess. So abscess is nothing but just a localized collection of pus in the oral cavity or anywhere in the body. Whenever there is localized collection of pus in any tissue which is leading to destruction of that tissue or the surrounding tissue, then it is said to be an abscess. Now, according to periodontium, it can be divided into three types: either the gingival abscess, pericoronal abscess, and the periodontal abscess. Now, gingival abscess are usually found in the gingiva region, which we will see forward. Then the periodontal abscess are related to your periodontal pockets, and pericoronal abscess can be seen in the figure itself whenever the abscess is covering or trying to cover a crown region, that is said to be the pericoronal abscess. In this case, it is the third molar which is been covered by the abscess. If you move ahead with a particular definition of periodontal abscess, it is localized purulent infection within the tissues adjacent to the periodontal pocket. Focus on each and every word. It is a localized purulent infection within the tissues, inside the tissues, and these tissues are adjacent to the periodontal pockets. Okay, and now the other part of the definition is that this is leading to destruction of your periodontal ligament and your alveolar bone. So this is the whole definition. Now you can see in the figure itself how the abscess looks like. This is the periodontal abscess. It is completely swelled up, can be easily noticed in any patient. It is very easy to notice these abscess. Sometimes there can be pus which is oozing out of these abscess. We've done the definition already. Coming to the classification, depending on various factors we have classified the abscess. Can be classified on the basis of location, on the basis of number, on the basis of tissue involved. So we'll be looking all at that classification now. Depending on the location, first of all, it can be gingival abscess and the periodontal abscess. Other than that, it can be the periapical abscess, or it can also be your pericoronal abscess. So what is gingival abscess? Whenever there is localized painful swelling on the gingiva, especially involving your marginal gingiva and your interdental gingiva, then it is said to be a gingival abscess. Always remember, in cases of gingival abscess, your marginal gingiva as well as your interdental gingiva will be affected. Coming to the periodontal abscess, usually the symptoms are very much similar to the gingival abscess. The only difference is that gingival abscess was kind of superficial, whereas periodontal abscess are going to involve the deeper periodontal structures. So it is usually associated with the periodontal pockets. Coming to, okay, so these are the two types which are left, that is periapical and the pericoronal. We have already did the pericoronal one in the previous slide. Looking to the periapical one, so periapical is now very easy. You very much know what is apical or apex region. So if I show you, for example, this is your crown and this is your root. So this is your apex, somewhat this is your apex. So whenever there is abscess in this apex region, then it is said to be the periapical abscess. Depending on the number, it can be single periodontal abscess or it can be the multiple periodontal abscess. So single is a normal situation which you are going to manifest, but when there is multiple periodontal abscess in the oral cavity, you have to find this that it is an uncontrolled case of diabetes mellitus. So this is a kind of special characteristic feature you need to remember, the characteristic star feature, that whenever a patient of multiple periodontal abscess comes to you, it means that the patient is having uncontrolled diabetes mellitus. Now coming to, according to the periodontal tissue affected, we have already done this, the gingival abscess, periodontal abscess and the pericoronal abscess. Moving to, if you see in the figure where it is exactly located, the gingival abscess involving the marginal and the interdental gingiva, you can see it is on the gingival region. The periapical abscess is usually near the apex region. This is the root, for example, and then that is the apex region. Now coming to the periodontal abscess, which is usually involving your deeper structures of the periodontium. Okay, and this is near the pocket region. Now coming to the etiology. Etiology is what is exactly leading to these abscess formation. So always remember, whenever there is a periodontal abscess formation, it is very much possible that the patient is also having a case of periodontitis. These both kind of coexist with each other. In periodontitis patient, you will see periodontal abscess, and in a periodontal abscess patient, you are going to see the periodontitis. So what exactly happens is, whenever there are any tortuous pockets means the pockets which are being completely isolated from the surrounding structures. For example, this is your pocket here, okay? This is your pocket here. So whenever there is a isolated pocket which is being isolated from the surrounding environment, the pus starts to get collect inside this pocket. For example, there was no isolation and the pocket was completely open. Then what would have happened that the pus would have oozed out from this place. But because of certain situation, if this pocket gets isolated from the surrounding environment, which means it becomes enclosed, in that case the pus will not be able to drain out and it will start to get accumulate inside this cavity or this pocket only, okay? It will not be able to ooze out, and this will lead to formation of periodontal abscess. It is the same thing which is being told in this point also, that even the marginal closure of the periodontal pocket will not allow the pus to move out, and what will happen, a pressure inside will start to form. As I told you, this is your crown region and this is your root region, and for example this is your pocket, and this is enclosed. So the fluid is, or the pus is getting accumulated inside it. What will happen, after some time the pressure inside this pocket will start to increase, and this infection will start spreading horizontally because it is not able to ooze out. So it will start spreading horizontally to the other tissues also, surrounding tissues. So changes in the composition of the microflora, bacterial virulence and in host defenses can also lead to this particular periodontal pocket formation. Now coming to the pathogenesis and the histopathology, how is the whole process taking place? So the very first initiation of the process takes place when the entry of bacteria is there in the soft tissue pocket wall. So whenever the bacteria enters the pocket wall, that is the first step when the whole process of this periodontal abscess formation is taking place. Now what will happen, the bacteria has entered inside the pocket wall. It will attract inflammatory cells towards it. And how will it attract the inflammatory cells? Through these chemotactic factors. Now there are certain chemotactic factors which are being released by the bacteria which have entered into our pocket, and this will attract the inflammatory cell. As soon as the inflammatory cells have reached to the site, they will start their function, that is the inflammation. And now inflammation, destruction, when in the same thing. So as soon as they reach to the site, they will start their function, the inflammation function, and they will start destroying the connective tissue, and it will produce pus also. So are you getting? This was very simple. This was the side, this is your crown and this is your pocket region. So what will happen is, the bacteria entered into the pocket wall. As soon as they entered into the pocket wall, they started releasing some factors which are known as your chemotactic factors. These chemotactic factors invited the inflammatory cells, and as soon as the inflammatory cells reached here, they started producing their action, that is inflammation of the connective tissue as well as the production of the pus. What are the clinical features you can see in the patient? Smooth shiny swelling of the gingiva, there will be no stippling which will be seen, painful and tender to palpitation, purulent exudate, increased probing depth, mobility of the tooth, and tooth is usually vital. What are the diagnoses? How can you see? So the very initial diagnosis is going to be made by the patient's complaint. Clinical signs and symptoms can be matched to your diagnosis level. Additional information can be taken by checking the medical and the dental history of the patient. Also, a radiographic examination can help you. Symptoms range from light discomfort to severe pain, and this is all what we have just done, that is tenderness of gingiva, swelling, tooth mobility and things like that. Now periodontal diagnosis, differential diagnosis. So sometimes it can be differentiated or can be confused with other problems also, that is gingival abscess, periapical abscess. You know, all these three abscesses, the gingival abscess, periapical and the periodontal abscess, they look very similar to each other. Like in appearance, the only difference they have got is on the location. So it is very important for you to know that which abscess is present on which region. That if it is near the marginal or the interdental region, then you have to tell that this is a gingival abscess. If it is related to the pocket, then it is a periodontal one. If it is near to the apex region, then it is a periapical one. So it is important for you to know the location. Now the other differential diagnosis can be pericoronitis and osteomyelitis, eosinophilic granuloma, vertical root fracture, all this can be the differential diagnosis. Coming to the treatment, which is the last part of the topic. The treatment of acute periodontal abscess is basically you have to elevate the pain, then you have to control the spread of the infection further, and you have to do the drainage. Now how can you do the drainage? You can do the drainage by two processes, either by a closed approach or an open approach. In closed approach, what do we do is, we will take a probe. You know what a probe is, we have already discussed it. You will take a probe and you will directly put it inside the pocket region. Okay, as soon as you will put it inside the pocket region, you will try to do the drainage through this probe only. So you will put this probe into the pocket region and then you will try to drain out every bit of pus which is inside accumulated. Okay, this is your closed approach. Anesthesia will be given to the patient. You will take a probe and you will introduce the probe into the pocket. You will distend the pocket wall for drainage and you will further drain each and every element of pus. This is your closed approach. Why is it said to be closed approach? Because you are not taking any cut or incision. Now comes the open approach, which we generally do in any kind of surgery. In these cases, what do? Is we are going to make the incision on the outer surface, and incision will be made at the most prominent side of the abscess. If you see this abscess, and if we have to make an incision, we will be making the incision on the most bulged out of the prominent part of the abscess. Like this, outerly we will be making an incision. After we have made the incision, we will make the we will make the pus drain out, or completely we will drain out the pus from that region. Antibiotic administration has to be given to the patient to control the spread of infection. You can either give metronidazole, tetracycline, azithromycin, amoxicillin plus clavinate. These are some of the antibiotics which can be administered with their doses here. Now coming to the chronic periodontal abscess. Right now we discussed about the acute case. Now we are talking about what if there is a chronic case of periodontal abscess. In this case, we have to go for surgical therapy. Now surgical therapy have got various procedures. Either we can go for gingivectomy or we can go for flap procedures. Flap procedures are generally which we do in periodontitis. The main objective of both these surgeries is to drain out the pus completely, and if there is any remaining calculus inside, then we have to remove that calculus also. So removal of the calculus as well as drain out the pus. These are the two main motives of this surgical therapy process. So this was all about the topic. If this video was useful to you, share this with your friends also, and let me know your suggestions in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.